Hello, everyone, and welcome to the December 3rd, technically, supposed to be December 2nd, but technically December 3rd, 2015 episode of Balls Deep Sports Talk with me, your host, Scotty Ball. Thank you for finding your way to the show this week. This is our 42nd episode of the show, and it has run every week. Sometimes we've had to change a few things here and there along the way to make that work, but we've always found a way, and this week is no different. Now, in those regards, now it is different, obviously, than a normal week. That is the whole point of me even bringing it up. Now, how it's different? Well, for starters, I am recording the show this week on Thursday as opposed to my usual recording of the show on Wednesdays. That's just how it worked out with my schedule this week, as well as the radio station schedule. Now, speaking of our, mothership origin of the show station, which would be WNLMradio.com for all of our loyal weekly internet radio listeners of the show. WNLMradio.com is currently under renovation, and it should take no longer than a week or two. I have been told, or I'm, come up with my own, inaccurate understanding or whatever, but I'm guessing in a week or two, Northern Lights Radio will be fully operational, as well as new and improved. There are, switching over servers or hosts, or, I don't know. I don't know technical computers. Yeah. So there's that. So anyway, for this week's 42nd episode here, the first week of December, by the way, I don't know if it's as cold where you are as where I am, but holy guacamole, winter is here officially where I live. But so we are only being broadcast on, well, I shouldn't say only, but we're, for this week and possibly next week as well, we will be for sure on Spreaker, the free Spreaker app, which is my personal favorite way to enjoy the show. I've also been told that you can listen to that online, possibly, on your desktop, laptop, whatever, if you are an internet radio user. If you simply go to Spreaker.com, you will find out there whether I'm right or wrong. We are also available on SoundCloud as well as YouTube. So, that is, the main differences of the show this week, as well as the fact that I might be forced to sporadically, record parts of the show and then go do, real life stuff for a little bit, and then come back and resume the show tonight as well, which is not how I normally roll, but I might have to just to make everything work. It is that time of year, holiday Christmas concerts and dance classes and band concerts and sporting games and what have you. So, but again, me, well, at least if you're a regular listener, me. I know how to go with the flow and roll with the punches, and what the French call a certain, I don't know what. But, so we're just going to roll with it. We're going to talk our sports the way we always do here every week. And again, if you are a WNLMradio.com regular listener, use the other platforms for this week, next week, and possibly one more week after that, while the internet radio station is under renovation. And then simply check back to that, keep checking back to that, as well as to me, and you'll know exactly when everything is back to up and running as normal. Now, with the WNLMradio.com internet radio being down, that also means that the TuneIn app, which we are also broadcast on every week, is also down. So those two platforms are out for the time being, but it should only be, again, a very small period of time, maybe 1 to 3 weeks total. And it's just a great opportunity for you to get it, download the Spreaker app on your phone. It's free. Type in Balls Deep Sports Talk. Boom. You've got a whole ton of archives of the show to listen to at your fingertips whenever you want. It is fantastic. While you're there, make sure to click the little heart or thumbs up or whatever it is, that says you like it while you're there. Now, to stay up to date and in contact with me and the show going ons, the best ways to do that are my personal favorite. Follow the show on Twitter. The Twitter handle for the show is at BDST Show, for Balls Deep Sports Talk Show. BDST Show. You can like and friend me on Facebook if that's more your thing. Simply search Scotty-Ball. You will see the green Balls Deep Sports Talk logo for my picture. Pretty, if you don't see that, it ain't me. All right, so I think there's all the, show technicality mumbo jumbos and disclaimers and whatnot that I had to get out of the way before we could officially get rolling. Expect somewhere between a 90-minute to 2-hour show tonight, which, again, for all my regular listeners knows, it's going to be somewhere between 2:10 and 2.5. But, again, we all kinds of real-life stuff going on now, and might have to trim a few things here and there, but for the most part, we will do our very best to go as balls deep, as thoroughly as we can with every topic here that we have to discuss on tonight's show. Well, what are those topics, Scotty Ball? You must be screaming at your listening device by this point in time. Well, let me tell you. All right, well, of course, as we do every week, with it being that time of year, with us being Americans, with it being my favorite of all the sports to follow, we will clearly be talking NFL football, and especially my and possibly your first place Minnesota Vikings. They are all alone in first place of the NFC North and are currently sitting in the number 3 seed of the NFC playoff picture. Were the playoffs to start today, or were things to play out with the current standings as they are? There is also news in the NFL world since the last time we have talked sports with each other, which would have been a week and a day ago, the night before Thanksgiving, to be correct. So we will be discussing Tony Romo news, Johnny Manziel news, Chip Kelly news, amongst other things. We will be recapping last week's results league-wide, as well as getting my picks and previews for this upcoming week's worth of NFL games. We will also be discussing college football more in depth than we probably usually do here. I don't know. I try to, do it a fair amount of justice, but I don't follow it as diehard, as the NFL. I follow it. Don't get me wrong. I follow it for you guys, and I follow it for me. It's fun, but I don't follow it like I follow the NFL. Everybody's got their, primary sport that they follow if they're a sports fan. Mine is NFL football, but I do follow college football as well because I love the game, the sport itself. Gophers coming off possibly their final game of the season, which was a disappointing loss to the Wisconsin Badgers. The Wisconsin Badgers keep the axe, which is their trophy thing for that the winner of the game gets to keep and possess every year when they play each other. We haven't won it for 12, 13, 14 years, something like that. But the Gophers finished their season 5-7, under 500. That's not so good. Who knows? Likely not a bowl game. Usually 6 wins is kind of the coveted bowl game number. However, with there being 40 bowl games, 80 teams, and not all 80 of those teams have won 6 or more games, the Gophers may still find themselves in a bowl game. But we will discuss that just a little bit in more depth when we get to that topic. We will, of course, be discussing the rest of the college football landscape, with this coming Saturday's set of college football games being the last of the, regular season / conference championships, playoffs, what have you. So this Saturday will determine who's in and who's out of the college football top 4 playoffs, in air quotations. that they have to determine their champion now at the end of every season. So this is the weekend to determine it all. Who's playing for a championship and who's playing in a bowl game. So plenty of scenarios to discuss with you, as well as teams to, what to get you ready for this coming Saturday's worth of games. That reminds me, Saturdays have been phenomenal days to be alive. If you're a fan of the show, a fan of sports, you could watch college football all day and listen to Balls Deep Sports Talk marathons on WNLM radio all day. I want to say we went from like noon to midnight last week, something like that, dang near. However, that's, down for a couple weeks, but again, just keep checking in on Facebook and Twitter, as well as listening to the most recent episodes of the show, and you'll know as soon as it's back up and running. But we have more than just football to discuss. You're welcome, ladies. The female listeners, I know they can only handle so much football. Guys, if you're a football fan, you could handle like probably 10 hours of football talk. Well, maybe not 10, but you can handle a lot of football talk. But the ladies, they like a little more diversity. They like it if you mix things up a little bit, keep it fresh, keep it spicy. So, of course, in our Balls Dribble segment, we will be discussing NBA basketball, both the, getting you up to date on what's happened with the T-Wolves since the last time we talked, as well as what's to come with the T-Wolves. Also going league-wide, discussing the 76ers as the worst, the Warriors as the best, Okafor and Kobe both finding their names in the news for very different reasons, as well as standings. We'll also be discussing doing basically the same thing with the NHL and the Minnesota Wild, going over their recent wins and losses since the last time we talked sports, what they have tonight or to come until the next time we meet again, and league standings. We'll be discussing a little bit of baseball news, as there was big baseball news since the last time we met, regarding a high profile free agent signing that I believe broke the record books, or at least broke some records in regards to the nature of its signing. So we'll be discussing that. You'll be getting my thoughts. We will also be talking some PGA golf news, believe it or not, because it's the first week of December. Like I said, I'm freezing where I'm at. I live in central Minnesota. I look outside the window. It's cold. I go outside. I exhale. I see my breath. It's cold. It's winter. But lo and behold, some golf news, which makes us all feel and think of summer, similar to baseball a little bit. There is golf news. There's a tournament going on this week, as well as Tiger Woods talking to the public, releasing a statement updating us on where he is at, and some people will find it very interesting. I don't find it at all surprising, but nonetheless, it is news to some people, and thus you will get it presented to you, as well as my take on it, and then also maybe just a little bit of quick, getting you prepped for more in-depth talk on next week's shows regarding UFC 194, which will be coming up next Saturday, December 12th, as well as WWE news, specifically regarding the TLC pay-per-view coming up next Sunday, December 13th, and also, just the current state of pro wrestling, WWE in general, and, Raw just sucking balls deep sports talk, if you've been watching, if you're a fan. But anyway, so those are all the topics that we plan on discussing and going over tonight, whether it be, like I said, news, stories, standings, recaps, previews, picks, opinions, what have you. So strap yourselves in and get ready, because it is time to officially start the show with our hit opening segment, and I have got something very special for you tonight for the hit opening segment. But let's say it together, everybody. On three, 1, 2, 3, balls on fire. What has got me, your